Good evening and welcome to BronxTalk. Happy New Year, folks. Before we turn the calendar ahead, tonight we review the best of BronxTalk in 2025. This year we presented 60 editions of BronxTalk, bringing our 31-year total to 1,535 programs. To get started, we'll go to April 7th, 2025. One of Borough President Vanessa Gibson's initiatives has been to address the inequities in maternal health for Bronx women. She appeared on BronxTalk to talk about her report on maternal health for Bronx women.
It's been going on for quite some time, Gary, and I often say that it is a part of systemic racism. It's health care inequity when it comes to prenatal and postnatal care and giving Black women all of the services that other women are afforded, insurance, how they pay for services, transportation, social determinants of health, some of the hereditary issues that Black women face. All of that is relevant in this conversation and why there are persistent barriers that just are in the way of women getting the full range of services, prenatal and postnatal.
I remember going to a prospective mothers forum and fair at North Central Bronx Hospital. I've been around a while. They have made over decades a real effort at this. Do other hospitals do not get it? I mean, it's disturbing because we could, and the health technology is there. Is it a matter of care about it? Is it a matter of funding? I mean, I don't want to list all, healthcare, of course, as you know, is our largest industry.
Yes, it is.
Why have we missed the boat here? It's just upsetting to me and to everybody.
Well, during our research and building out the birthing report, we talked to a lot of healthcare professionals, specifically Black nurses and CNAs and many in the healthcare sector. We talked to birth workers, doulas, and midwives. We also did research on the first ever birthing center in the city of New York, which was the Childbearing Center of Morris Heights in the Bronx that opened in 1988. And a lot of the industry has talked about changes in healthcare, where you often feel that it's profit over people instead of people that really matter, and focusing on what Black women need, our very unique needs when it comes to healthcare, when it comes to the delivery of healthcare. And I think it's a lot of those factors, as well as the availability of what doulas do. That's why we're working to build out a doula directory with the New York State Department of Health.
A week later, on April 14th, we welcomed two representatives of the Northwest Bronx Community and Clergy Coalition, NWBCCC, who were rightly proud of the victory they had over a rogue landlord in getting control of his building. And they talked about how this could be duplicated for other Bronx tenants who struggle with substandard housing. Take a look.
Well, we formed the Tenant Association back in 2009.
Wow, so even prior to where the thing really blew up.
There was a big fire in 2008 in the building, and a whole line of apartments were pretty much knocked out. So we were connected to the Northwest Bronx Community and Clergy Coalition through Our Lady of Angels Parish. My mother went to the church, spoke to the priests.
Your mom still lives there?
Yeah, my mom is still in the building.
Still lives in the building, okay, I just wanted to establish. So go ahead, I'm sorry.
Yeah, so we established a tenant association in 2009. And then we just started organizing ever since then. Finkelstein was not the owner of the building in 2009 and 10.
Yeah, Steve Finkelstein is the landlord in question. Go ahead.
Yeah, so we formed a tenant association, started meeting monthly, started understanding how the system works. We realized there were other buildings that were dealing with the same issues, and we helped form other tenant associations in other buildings. Then when Steve Finkelstein bought the building around 2011, we even signed a deal with him that he would make all the necessary repairs, do all the BNC violations, and then quickly to 2015, he started doing the so-called renovations to the bathrooms and kitchens. And in 2018, we were hit with the rent increases. So in 2015, when he started the so-called renovations, it was very shoddy work, and they weren't necessary because, remember, we had a fire. So there was an entire line of apartments that had brand new kitchens and brand new bathrooms.
And so he did the renovations This sounds, this sounds like I'm just following along here. So we did the renovations that you didn't need at the time,
Right.
but charged you anyway.
Yes.
I'm working on that. But let's go back to the notion of tenant association. Number one, what does it take to, this is really instructive for the people of the Bronx, what does it take to form a tenant association?
I mean, the first thing is talk to your neighbors. Get to know your neighbors. You're all dealing with the same issues. So that's number one. Number two is it's always helpful to get connected with an organization like Northwest Bronx Community Clergy Coalition because they gave us all the tools. They helped us facilitate meetings. They helped us door knock. And they gave us all the tools we needed to really keep the tenant association strong. But it's really about talking to your neighbors and doing a meeting in the lobby and kind of presenting all the issues that you're going through and then formulating a plan. But I think the first thing you need to do is get to know all your neighbors and start the first meeting and just have these monthly meetings with your neighbors.
In 2025, we presented 5 political debates and 4 separate programs featuring interviews with candidates running for city council. Ultimately, 2 new Bronx City Council members were elected. Democrats Justin Sanchez in the 17th Council District and Shirley Aldebol in the 13th Council District. Take a look.
Yes, I would have voted for the city of Yes. However, the city of Yes didn't go far enough. What we need to do is actually develop actual policies so that we can build our housing. I'm the only candidate in this race that has a fully fleshed out 17 for 17 policy agenda. And housing is right at the top of it. I've developed a new model to build housing. Currently, we build housing off of this area medium income that takes in the incomes from Westchester and Putnam County. Well, I'm working with state and city officials to develop CMI, community medium income, which will build housing based on our local council district or community boards, whatever we can agree on. We have underutilized lots, 17 right here in the district that the NYPD owns that are either not used or underutilized. We can actually change those into things called CLTs or community land trusts that actually can help build actual proper housing right here in our district. We have the means to build our housing. We just need the guts and actual political courage to actually get it done.
As far as public safety is concerned, if Zohran Mamdani does defund the police, I think we are going to need troops sent into our district. And as far as ICE, you had mentioned something about ICE, correct?
Yes, and ICE obviously has been around the courthouse downtown. I mean,
Yeah.
and we haven't been inundated like some other cities, but they're here somewhere.
Yeah, what I provide in my office is every Monday we provide immigration services to allow the people from District 13 who do not have their paperwork in order to get them to sit with an attorney to help them to go through the process because we want them to have the correct path to citizenship and we will always support them. I've actually had 2 people who I know personally use these services and we're proud to do that. We're proud to get them the correct pathway to citizenship.
Thank you very much, Ms. Aldebol.
So, I am completely against, ICE agents and troops coming into New York City because we elect a mayor who happens to be Muslim, who's a democratic socialist, who is not going to defund the police. You can't just defund the police. I am not for defunding the police. I'm for giving the police the resources and the support that they need so that they can do their job and not do all the other jobs that they're trying to do, including, being ICE agents. People that go to court for regular ICE check-in should not be afraid of following a legal process, should not be afraid of being met with ICE agents at the courthouse door. They should not be afraid of taking their children to school. They should not be afraid of accessing health care. And what we're doing is making people afraid to speak up, be witnesses to crimes, to report problems in the community. And it's not helpful to have people, just detained without any due process, which, by the way, due process is one of the cornerstones of our democracy. If this person gets elected mayor, whoever gets elected mayor, they're elected by the majority of New Yorkers. And, the President of the United States should respect that.
57% of New York City high school students are college ready by their senior year. "55% of high school graduates either have no plans to attend college or are uncertain that they will ever attend." "34% of young adults don't go to college because they can't afford it." Discover what's possible. BronxNet's education programs, internships, and opportunities help engage and inspire Bronx youth and beyond to pursue their passions. Be a part of the BronxNet family. Whether you're interested in our shows, joining a class, or donating to support our mission, visit bronxnet.org to learn more.
In the late summer, there was a spate of shootings in Bronx neighborhoods. On September 22nd, Bronx District Attorney Darcel Clark appeared on BronxTalk to talk about the problems and solutions to gun violence in the Bronx.
Yes, it's true that the numbers were going down and we're going in the right direction, but every now and then just things happen, you know. But I see that the problem in the Bronx has been, and things are changing, and thank God for the NYPD and the mayor and people now finally concentrating on the Bronx, is that we've always been under-resourced and underserved for a very long time. So in communities where the numbers have gone down dramatically, we've always seen that there's always been an intentionality in bringing more resources to those communities, whether it's more police, which we could always do, and I'm always in favor of more police, but also programming and money and jobs, and really just concentration on communities themselves, investment in community. And I have been jumping now for almost the last 10 years trying to explain that to people. And it's not until we have a week or 10 days like we've had recently when people start to focus on, oh, maybe that's what it is. So I think the refocus now on doing that is making a difference. I'm thanking God that it was only those 10 days, and we've seen things have gone down, things are calming down.
It's been quieter.
Yes.
Okay, that's a good start. Now, the first 6 months of the year, I believe your office put this out, there were more than 100 people shot, and 24 of them were fatal incidents. I did the math on that. That means we're getting 4 a month, which is practically a gun death every week, which is just absolutely horrible. But then your office, in the release I saw, concluded that while overall shootings in New York City has decreased, there's been a concerning rise in youth gun violence. So let's just start there. We'll break a lot of this down. But let's talk about youth. Now, you talked about services and all that. Where are we at, and there's gangs. I mean, how do you see what's going on with young people in the Bronx? Maybe specifically young men mostly.
No, well, young people, we're at a crisis. You hear me say all the time, we're losing a generation of our young people to this gun violence, whether they're the victim of the crime. We've seen the age of victims of crime getting younger and younger, and those offenders are younger and younger. That means we have to do more to reach our young people. That means we have to make sure we get into the schools. That means for those who are not going to schools, they need an option of a job or some type of programming. That means, you know, that I have to be a lot more forceful in the law enforcement part of it. Because look, let's face it, these young people are 13, 14, 15. They're not old enough to vote. They're not old enough to drink. They're not old enough to buy guns. So how are they getting these guns?
That was going to be my next question.
Yes, so therefore, my concentration has not only been in helping those victims of crime, prosecuting those and holding accountable those who are committing the crimes with the gun, but also the gun itself is a crime. So in as much as I'm dealing with the non-fatal shootings, that means a bullet that hits skin, I have to deal with those. I have to deal with what turns out to be the homicides. I'm dealing with that. But also the gun that was used in the case, whether a person is just possessing a gun or they're using it. where did that gun come from? And we are really concentrating on that now, working with our federal partners, working with all other law enforcement partners, working with the community to see where is this coming from. We're on the iron pipeline, so everybody knows that. We're uniquely located because of the 95 corridor. Those guns come through that corridor all the time, buses, trains, cars.
The Bronx has 4,000 nonprofits that fuel Bronxites with support systems that improve quality of life in our borough of the Bronx. One of the best of them is South Bronx United, a brilliant organization that uses the game of soccer as a pathway to academic achievement and success in business. And they even opened up a designer coffee shop on River Avenue right near Yankee Stadium. It has been a lifeline for young Bronxites. Take a look. Character in the young people is built through the playing of soccer or through the other things, or is that a stupid question because you can't measure it?
I mean, it is a good question. It's also difficult to measure. We have, so the 1,900 most are in soccer focused programs. We have recreational soccer program, community soccer programs. We have classes start with children as young as age 2 years old. Maria was in our SBU Academy program.
That's crazy, by the way, but go ahead.
Yeah, two all the way up to 24, our workforce development programming. But one of our programs is SBU Academy, and that's the program we've had since day one. And those are young people that most of them will say they want to play professionally. They come because they love the sport. But to be on the competitive teams that we provide, they have to be attending the academic programs and college prep with us. So that's about 200 middle and high school students that are doing both the competitive teams and doing the academics, college prep mentorship programs in the classroom. So they're with us up to like 12 hours a week.
You know, I'll just give you an anecdote that's related, but it goes way back to, you know, the 90s. I talked to the director of the PSAL, the Public School Athletic League, and he was talking about funding, and he said, I have 26,000 students who are athletes, and they can't even practice unless they come to school that day. He said, if you double my budget, I will have 52,000, and then you could grow like that. But that's what you've done, is require that you be part of the academy. So talk about the SBU, the South Bronx United Academy. This is something that you created?
Yeah, so this is really from the beginning was our primary model, is utilizing the power of soccer and the passion that youth have for it to help them on the pathway through middle school, high school, college, and careers. So in that program, it's about 200 middle and high school students that make up 11 competitive teams. So both boys and girls teams. They come after school for academic support, homework help, high school application prep, college prep, SAT prep, helping them all the way through that. And they're doing that while they're doing their practices and games in the afternoons and weekends. And they do have to attend the academics. And for anyone interested in the program, just for them to know now, you have to be attending the academics or you don't get to play. So.
Right. You can see some of the pictures of some of the things that the young people are doing. I mean, it's truly a remarkable program. I see Maria looking. She's looking for a picture of herself or her friends.
No.
Maria, we do have a little video of you that. Whoops. We do have a little video of you that I want to show.
Okay.
But you told me just before you don't still play soccer.
No. After my season with Lehman, actually, because
Oh,
I
that's
also
right.
played.
You played at
I
Lehman.
played for Lehman too.
Wow.
Yes. I decided to retire from that. I needed a break. I wanted to focus on what I could give back, like I mentioned, to my community. So I've been working on that, working as a case manager and coaching.
And you coach, and where do you,
Yes.
you coach with SBU?
Whenever I can and whenever they need help, any volunteering, I do that. Or I also, I will say small communities in the Bronx, I also do that as well.
So the night.
There's a new channel to explore, and it's bringing the classics back to life. During the day, relive the Bronxnet originals that sparked conversations and built community. At night, dive into the hip-hop throwbacks that defined a generation. One destination, two powerful lineups. Now playing on Optimum Channel 952, Fios 2138, and streaming at BronxNet.tv. BX Legacy, where history meets the moment.
To conclude our look back, we're going to dip into the Bronxnet archives for a two-part story I did way back in December 1995, 30 years ago. It's an inspiring holiday story of how a Bronx public school glee club at PS 26 in Highbridge got a chance to perform on Broadway. It's from the first TV news program in the Bronx, a show called BXNY on Bronxnet. 30 years ago, take a look and enjoy.
The Glee Club at PS 26 has made it big. After rehearsing in their conductor's living room every week for 7 years, these 25 children will open on Broadway tonight in Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat. In this first of two parts, Gary Axelbank followed the PS 26 children as they went from the Bronx to Broadway.
It's a home like thousands of other homes in the Bronx. But inside this one, between Burnside and Tremont Avenues in the Bronx, something very special is going on. What you're watching is a rehearsal of the PS 26 Glee Club. Without facilities in school nor the funds to rent a rehearsal hall, school family worker Glenda Eiffel has rehearsed these 25 children each week in her Mars Heights living room for the past 7 years.
I try to get them like a family, and I feel the only way to keep that family thing going is to have them right here at home, and the parents know they're here, that they're safe, and I don't think I want to go anyplace else to rehearse. I don't know. So we don't have much room, but we get just closer, right?
If you're enjoying watching and listening to these children sing, you're not alone. After passing a series of auditions, incredibly, the Glee Club from PS 26 in the Bronx and from Glenda Eiffel's living room was selected to perform in Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat, which opens tonight on Broadway.
It gives me the greatest of pleasure to watch their faces when they have done something really well. And the adults, the parents said, "Oh, is that my daughter? I can't believe that my daughter could perform that well."
I've always wanted to be on stage, you know, because when you're on stage and you're gonna sing, you express your feelings in a song, and it's just, that's my dream.
While the experience of rehearsing for a Broadway show has been a dream come true for most of these kids, it has not been without disappointment. Because School District 10 would not release Ms. Eiffel from her daily school duties, for the 2 weeks of rehearsal, the PS 26 Glee Club had to get on the bus each day to go downtown to rehearse for their Broadway show without their leader, mentor, and inspiration.
I love Miss Eiffel as my mother, so it was like, it's a big step for me not to be with my mother all the way. So, you know, I really missed her a lot.
But this is a story with a happy ending. The children learned that being on Broadway was more about them and their ability than the administrative squabbling of the school district, and they persevered. And now, tonight, at the Minskoff Theater, these children from the South Bronx will make their debut. It's opening night on Broadway.
I wish somebody who is looking at this would think a little more highly of the kids from the Bronx, especially from PS 26. We have been dumped on for years and years and years. It's about time it stops.
Glory, glory, hallelujah, His truth is marching on.
Gary Axelbank reporting for BXNY.
Last night on BXNY, Gary Axelbank told us about the PS 26 Glee Club rehearsing in a South Bronx living room. Tonight, Gary concludes his two-part report about the public school group that went from the Bronx to Broadway.
It's a fantasy story. The PS 26 Glee Club spent years of weekly rehearsals in this modest Bronx living room. Their leader, school family worker Glenda Eiffel, entered them in an audition for a Broadway play on a hunch. A few months later, for these 25 Bronx school children, it's opening night at the Minskoff Theater. Opening night on Broadway is always magical. For the PS 26 Glee Club, tonight's opening of Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat is a dream come true.
this is the great thing that ever happened in my life, you know? And this is the opportunity that nobody else can have. And it's really fun to be in this, working with famous people.
It feels real good. Like when they stand up and cheer for you, it makes you feel real proud that you're on that stage.
You could go and tell your friends, I'm in Broadway now. So all my life I wanted to be a singer. And it's just something new that you could do to get your mind off of everything else.
Andrew Lloyd Webber's production of Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat, which opened last night, is a lavish musical with all the Technicolor trimmings. This revamped version of the biblical story of Joseph and the Coat of Many Colors stars television soap star Michael Damian. In the show, Joseph succeeds because of his everlasting faith in himself. Well, it's the same story for the PS26 Glee Club, who will be performing in Joseph 4 times a week through the holiday season.
Most of the time it's only adults, and over here, you know, you kids can relate to it, and it's also a good opportunity for the kids.
They got to participate about as much as the grown-ups.
When all the kids together, it's one of the best shows in Broadway.
Joseph promoters are expecting to do big business, but for the PS26 Glee Club, business takes second stage to their incredible achievement.
People, they tell you, oh, you can't do it because where you're from and your background. And now it's like we've proven to them that they're wrong and we could do it if we try, and we did do it.
From the Great White Way, I'm Gary Axelbank for BXNY. That concludes tonight's program. We want to thank our current producer, Ray Pagnucco, and the producer who worked with us before that, Rebecca Hemmick. Also, our directors, Nick and Will, and the Bronxnet production and editing crews who do such a great job. And of course, to you too, it's always about the people of the Bronx. So we'll see you next year. Happy New Year.